What's going on, guys? I'm Seth, or SUPR to some of you. I'm the general manager of Sonic's Esports, and I'm the current head coach for the Rainbow Six Siege team. And they just released these predictions where you can, I think, get free packs or the battle pass. Actually, don't know if they're doing the battle pass this time, but I know that, yeah, they are. So last time, if you followed my predictions and I didn't even do the play-ins, you would have actually won the battle pass by following my predictions. So I thought I would go ahead and post my predictions again. I'll post them through each like phase because I believe you can make them as it goes, and I don't think it makes sense to do it ahead of time because you want to make sure that you're predicting like with all the teams, right? And it kind of depends on brackets and stuff like that. So we're going to do the predictions for play-ins, and then after play-ins, we'll do a prediction for the playoffs, which you have a couple of extra days, and I'll post that as well. And yeah, obviously, I will say when we get to the playoffs, I am going to be biased because, as I said, I'm the head coach for the Sonics Rainbow Six Siege team this stage, and we did win NAL, so we are in the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's get to the play-ins. For this, you're only basically predicting 4 teams, so not a lot going on here. The first matchup we have is Black Dragons and CL4L. If you haven't heard, Tristan, who is a key player on CL4L, is unable to go for, honestly, we don't really know the reasons. He's just choosing not to go. That means they're either going to have a stand-in or Bodega, their coach, is going to play. Honestly, if this was a game where Tristan was playing, I think this would actually be pretty close because they're having to use a sub. And if you look on their team, while they do have some talented players, some guys who have been in Pro League, Adam and Packer, this is also a team that have 0 LAN experience at all, 0 international experience at all. That does matter, especially at a major. On the Black Dragon side, they're a team that really struggled in the Brazil stage. They actually were last place. They didn't even win a game. But I thought it was interesting where if you looked at it, they kind of started to pick up steam a little bit towards the end, 7-8 Furia. And then once they got into the playoffs, they honestly had a pretty good showing, right? They 2-0'd E1, who were one of the top teams in the regular season stage. They 2-0'd Keatstars, who are another solid team. Then they beat Furia, who we all know are, one of the best teams of all time, at least up until last year or the beginning of this year. So because I think the lack of international experience, the issues with the CL4L player, we're going to pick Black Dragons. And actually, I don't want to... Let's go... Well, I'll just leave that for a second because I didn't even think about the bracket portion of this because we're actually predicting it from here. So if we're doing that, then we're going to say CL4L are going to drop, and then they would go to here, from what I understand. And then G2 and CAG... I don't think we need to get too crazy about this. G2 are a team to me that should win. I think they will win. They're just a better team. CAG is a team that is notorious all time for really struggling internationally. I don't think that changes here. So we got G2 and Black Dragons. I'm going to go G2 advancing there. To me, my reason for this is I think G2 are just better than Black Dragons. If you were to look at the EU stage, actually, if I can get out of this, G2 actually played pretty well in the EU stage, and then they really kind of fumbled the bag once they got into the like playoff portion. But they were 3rd place in EU, and then they won the LCQ pretty easily. So they're both LCQ teams. G2 had a better showing in the stage. So I think what we actually are going to do is our first prediction is going to be G2, right? And then that means down here, we're going to have that matchup of CL4L and CAG. And they would advance to here. So we'll look at that in a second once we get this done. Now we've got Alpha Team and Team Falcons. If you don't know Alpha Team, they are the team that qualified through the LATAM League. However, the organization announced that 3 of the 5 players on Alpha Team, I believe, cannot attend the major in Montreal because they did not get their visas. This is another situation where, one, I don't know if I would have picked them either way, because Falcons do have some experience. You know, they do make a decent amount of the events. They do have some experienced guys. But when you're, you know, you have to make that many subs, it's not going to be the same. So Falcons are going to advance there. And then this to me is actually maybe, I think this is probably the closest, but I think this game also is somewhat close, is the FearX and Chiefs esports game. So obviously, normally from the Australia region or APAC, Oceania, whatever you want to call it, we usually get Gaming Gladiators or Bliss as they were known. They actually were upset here by Chiefs, and what was kind of like a strange game. A lot of delays in that game. And we got FearX. Now, FearX, if you pay attention, actually have been playing kind of well. In APAC, they beat Namwon, they beat PSG, which is Fabian's team. And then if we were to go to this major in Manchester, they did lose, yes, but they beat G2 2-1 maps, right? And then against Bleed, they were very close to 2-0ing them. So I think they're actually playing a bit better than we're used to. Obviously, I'm not saying they're, you know, earth-shattering, but they are playing a bit better than I think we're used to seeing from them. And then on the side of Chiefs, this is a team that hasn't had a lot of international experience as a team. They do have some players on their team who are experienced. Oda, of course, was on the Bliss roster. Tex played on Fnatic. You know, you can have your own opinion on how that went, but he also has a top 6 placing at SI. Jigsaw played in Fnatic as well. He was on Bliss as well. So they do have some experienced players there, at least internationally, maybe not as a team. So I think that's going to be a very close game, but I'm actually going to go Chiefs. So then that means we have Chiefs against Falcons. And Falcons, if we look at them internationally, what they've been doing, they actually didn't even make the last major in their own league. They did go undefeated with the plus 30 round count. So I think they're actually kind of hard to predict here because we don't really know what to expect. So honestly, what I think I want to do is I think I go Chiefs over them as well. So then we have G2 and Chiefs, right? And so now we have the matchups under, which is we have CL, 4L, and CAG, and the winner of that, and then we have Alpha Team and FearX. FearX is going to win that. So then that means we're going to have FearX against Black Dragons, and we're going to have between CL4L and CAG. I think I'm going to go CAG. I just want to look at one thing here. Manchester Major with CAG. They lost to Bleed 2-0, then they beat Cruelty, then they beat GK. It's hard because if CL4L have a player who's like experienced, I think they probably beat CAG. If they're using their coach or, you know, some other issue there, I think they're going to lose to CAG. So I think I'm going to pick CL4L to beat CAG, although that is really 50-50 to me. So then that would mean that we've got CL4L against Falcons, and we've got I guess it would be FearX against Black Dragons. So then we're gonna go Black Dragons, and we're gonna go, I think I want to say Falcons. Because I will say I think this could be CL4L. I even think this could be CAG. It makes me nervous picking CL4L because we don't know who they're playing. So like after I post, or playing with as their sub. So like after I post this let's say we find out Merc is playing or something for CL4L, right? That's one of the rumors. I don't know if that's what's happening. Then maybe you change your mind and you go CL4L. But I'm kind of basing this under they're using a coach. And if that's the case, I'm going to go Falcons. So then we've got G2 and Chiefs, Black Dragons and Falcons. That's going to be our predictions for the play-in, and then we'll redo it from the playoffs. If something changes and we have announcements with, like, let's, earth-shattering sub, maybe we change it there. But that's what we're going with. If you want to follow me along, remember we need 25 points to get that battle pass. Last time we got it without even doing the play-in, so see how it goes. Good luck if you're following along.